It's an incredible story coming out of Germany. A leading newspaper has hammered Bayern Munich star Harry Kane despite his incredible form in the Bundesliga. The article in Bild says, lots of effort, too little success. What good are 3 goals against Kiel if he doesn't even get a shot on goal against Leverkusen? Kane goes missing too often, but since his £1 million move from Spurs last summer, he has 54 goals and 17 assists. His name from just 52 appearances in all competition and topped the scoring charts at the end of last season. Now, we're going to get straight to German football expert Kevin Hatchard. Kevin, a very good morning. Thanks for joining us. What is happening here, Kevin? They're not turning on Harry Kane with those figures, are they?
No, I don't think they are. But I think what's quite interesting is it's probably the first negative article I've seen about Kane in the whole time he's been in Germany. And I think the point that Bild were making, and they are quite a sensational publication, it has to be said. Their point was, what's the point of getting a hat-trick against Holstein Kiel and getting 4 against Dinamo Zagreb if you then, in the biggest game of the season so far, don't have a single shot on goal? But I did the game at the weekend, and we kind of looked at Kane. We were doing the tactical feed, and we were looking at how the game played out. I mean, he didn't get the ball in dangerous areas because that's just the way the game developed. And Xabi Alonso admitted that Leverkusen, for big stretches of the game, had to dig in with a back 5 and make it really tough for Bayern. And as you guys know, there can be games where Kane isn't involved for long stretches.
Well, it's the same with Haaland, isn't it, Hatcher? I think that, generally speaking, that can be the case with a lot of top centre forwards.
Yeah, 100%. Because ultimately, they're there for the big moment when they do get that chance, and they've suddenly won you the game. And his record is exceptional since he got to Germany. I mean, he's averaging better than a goal a game. He's got 10 in all competitions this season. As you say, he's been getting assists as well. So it's not as if he's playing badly. But it's interesting because it's the first time I've seen Bild go for him properly. And it's kind of because they didn't have anybody else to go for. Because actually, a bad Bayern story sells. And actually, Bayern have been pretty near flawless under Company so far. So, you know, I think maybe he was an easy target.
Bayern have always had a centre forward of genuine repute and renown, Kev, that's scored plenty. They've always had that type of player, haven't they? You know, historically, I mean, and Harry's followed Lewandowski, and you know, and Lewandowski's numbers were incredible, but he will have had plenty of games too where he doesn't look like he's getting the chances and he's not charging around everywhere. He wasn't doing that either. So it's not kind of new to them.
No, and I think what you see with Kane is that he'll drop in and he'll kind of play others in. I mean, we know about his assist record in the Premier League as well with Spurs. It was very, very good. And I think I actually did a bit of digging a few weeks ago for a commentary, and I was looking at Bayern players in their first 50 games. And in terms of goals, Kane's way ahead of Lewandowski after his first 50 games. And he's actually ahead of Haaland as well, in terms of where he is in terms of goal scoring. This is a tiny blip. I think Bayern are very happy with Kane. The Bayern fans love him. I think Bild were looking for a target. But I do think, you know, until he gets that first trophy, that question's always going to be there. And that's not fair on him. That's not fair on him at all, because he's a world-class striker. There's no doubt about it. It's just circumstance, really. But there's always been that thing against him that in the big games, it doesn't quite happen for him. And you go back to the summer, he was not fit. I don't believe.
Well, Kev, that's what I want to ask you, mate. That's exactly where I was going to my next question, because that was certainly the case. What I felt looking at it, and I was very, very surprised that, in fact, Gareth, you know, did not make a change in that position. I thought Ollie Watkins did more than enough to perhaps certainly get more game time. But it was fascinating for me at the start of the season just to see how Harry Kane started, because he did not. He looked, and we've all seen it. We've all played the game and watched the game. He looked to me like somebody in that tournament that was carrying an injury, mate.
Yeah, well, if you go back to the end of last season, it was all set up for him to push for Lewandowski's single season record of 41 goals in the Bundesliga. And I remember as a commentator, you get your assignments. And I got Bayern for the last couple of games. And I was thinking, right, we're in for a story here. Yeah. And then he missed them because he had a back injury. And you might remember he went off in that second leg of the Champions League semi-final at the Bernabeu against Real Madrid. Yeah. And everybody went, why has he done this? Why is Tuchel taking him off? Well, he took him off because he could barely move because his back had gone. And he missed the last couple of games. And that was to get fit, presumably, for the Euros. But to me, and I don't know for definite, but certainly to me, looking on, having watched him the whole season, he didn't look right, really. Only he knows. And, he might come out and say I was absolutely fine. But to me, it didn't look like the same Harry Kane we know.
Just a quick one, Kev. Tonight, Dortmund sitting, I think, 4-2 victory at the weekend. I think it was Friday night they played, and they've got Celtic, who had a terrific result in the opening Champions League game. It's a place I love going. It's a great place to watch football, Dortmund. How do you see that game going tonight, and what do you think of Dortmund's start so far? Sitting at, I think, 10 points they've gotten after 5.
Yeah, they're up and down. They're under a new coach, Nuri Sahin, who's a bit of a club legend. He won the title as a player under Klopp. And they're fragile at times. So I think there's something there for Celtic. But what I would say is that equally it could be a 5-1. Yeah. Because when that Dortmund forward line clicks, you can't stop them. They are really dangerous. And Serhou Guirassy signed from Stuttgart, who got 30 goals in all competitions last season. And he's scoring goals now. Yeah. Missed the start of the season with a knee injury. They've got Marlon, they've got Adeyemi, they've got loads and loads of quality Julian Brandt. So depends which Dortmund turns up. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but that's genuinely been the case with them. Even on Friday, they were bad at the start, went behind and had to come from behind. They were awful the week before at Stuttgart. They got beat 5-1. Absolutely dreadful. So defensively, big problems that they've got to solve. But going forward, you just try stopping them.
Okay, Kev, thanks for the time this morning. Enjoy your football tonight, Paul.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.